Kia ora and g'day. Hello.
How's it?
Hey, long time no speak.
Yeah,
We just wanted to give you a little bit of an update. You have to come closer, babe.
I'm leaning right across, babe.
Okay.
I'm looking at. I'm going to be like this if I come any closer and I get a crack on my
I
neck.
can't help it. Anyway, we just thought we'd give you a bit of an update about where we're at. I'm heaps better. Lou's still in the last throes of. We've just had the most. It's like the carpet has been completely pulled from underneath my feet. That was about July the 20th. So about July the 20th, I relaxed, and the next minute this energy wave hit me like nothing I've experienced in my life before. One of our friends, our divine friends that we work with, called it a vicious purging. That gives you a bit of an idea. It's been absolutely majorly friggin' intense. I wouldn't swap it for the world now that I'm at this end of it. During the middle of it, I was really struggling at times. But both Lou and I have used this. I can't speak for Lou, but I've definitely used this to help purge and clear mental and emotional, physical, spiritual dross and crap from my energy. I feel like I've been scrubbed clean with a wire brush inside and out. It's been absolutely incredible. It took the guise of a flu, for lack of a better word, and there's 3 of us that have experienced, and probably another 2 that we know of that have experienced this as well. And I said to Lou, what's this about? Not everybody's, I mean, I don't get flus, I don't get things. Normally, that's not my cup of tea. It's not where my immune system's at. But my immune system was obviously needing to purge and to heal. And it's been amazing. I was in bed for a week.
That's 7 days, literally.
It's unheard of for me to do that. And so anyway, up and about and still finding my feet. I feel like a newborn baby. I feel like on the land that we are on here, I went for a walk when I was able to walk around and move a lot more. And it felt like I'd never been on this land before in my life. It was the first time I'd stepped onto it. Everything's like new and fresh. It's just an amazing clearing, an amazing uprooting of everything. And many years ago, I gave intent for my original blueprint to be uncovered, to be released, because we know that our DNA has been sorely messed with over eons of time. And in this lifetime too, for some of us who are aware of different things that have happened. So that's also been coming through and making itself obvious to me. But I don't know how you guys are doing out here. Feel free to chime in. Have you experienced a intense flu-like energy that has knocked you for a 6, completely wiped you out recently? Or anything similar? I mean, Lou's still recovering. I have not seen her so unwell. And we use the word unwell because that's the manifestation in the physical, but I've been reminded time again while I've been going through this that I am not my emotional body, nor am I my physical body. Now, when your eyebrows are even aching, your wrists, your nostrils, your kidneys are falling out.
The very hair on your head.
Falling out. And someone says to you, you're not your physical body. I feel like getting a broom and shoving it up there, you know who. But it's true.
I'll tell Platorans that, shall I?
It's true. I am not my physical body. I am not my emotional body. And it's these words and the meditation and the healing meditation using some of our wonderful guidance we've been given by healing the energy vortices, which is another word for chakras, working through that in meditation and reminding myself that I'm not my emotional body has helped me to get through this and detach from the so-called physical pain and emotional gripe of this experience. I've certainly come out of this, and it's not finished yet, I don't sense at all. I've had very little appetite, and which is fine. Weight loss, unexpected. It's all good, but I'm so much more conscious about so many different things. And it's all very well me saying I'm conscious this and conscious that, but I'm consciously connected to the healing. I am consciously connected to my healing. That no one can heal me. Only I can heal myself. And this is going to probably annoy some people, because there are so many people that go, oh, I'm a healer, I do this, I do Reiki, I'm a healer. You can't actually heal anybody. Only the person that's receiving and their intent gives permission for the ultimate healing. And these are some of the things that we've been reminded of ourselves, Louise and I, over the years. And so it's been thrown right back at me. Am I my own healer? Yes, I can get guidance and support, facilitation from somebody else. But to be honest, I feel completely different. I feel like a newborn babe. Let's have a look at some of these comments now. Good morning, Devi, how are you? Hello to all of you watching here. Look, if anyone's experiencing
Donna
some...
says that she's increased sensitivity to her sensitiveness.
Right, okay, yeah. So...
Absolutely.
all of that too. So thank you for sharing. So feel free to share. I think that this particular energy wave, which is, like I said, it's just ripped the ground from underneath Lou and I, is actually for those who want to pick up on it.
Yeah. It's like, Heather asked me just...
You pick up on whatever waves you want to pick up on. I don't feel like I had a choice. 1 minute I'm walking around, the next minute I was collapsed in bed. But I did have a choice, because my higher self obviously tapped me on the shoulder and went, it's time that you release, girl. You've been hanging on to way too much stress. And sorry for interrupting, darling. I just wanted to say this a little bit about stress. Stress creates toxins in our cells and our body and causes all sorts of havoc with our mental, emotional, physical, spiritual body. And so the stress over the last 2 years or so, maybe even longer, had built up in my body, and it was extremely painful releasing it, extremely uncomfortable. And I'm still being reminded that I'm not my physical body while I'm doing this, of course. But it's the truth. Stress toxins can absolutely cause chaos in your body. That's what I've been releasing. A lot of stress toxins. Plus, I've been doing a lot of shadow work. If you don't know what I'm talking about the dark side of yourself, your shadow side. Everybody's got one. Even Deepak Chopra. In fact, maybe especially Deepak Chopra, given his stance on jabs. You know what I'm saying? I'm just using that as an example. Everybody has their shadow self. So I was encouraged, and in no uncertain terms, to look at my shadow self during this as well. I'm not saying that's completely done with, but what I'm saying is the drudge and the dirge and the smell in my nostrils and the sludgy feeling that I had, I kept saying, what's this horrible? And one of our mentors and friends who works with us said, have you thought about looking at your shadow self? Maybe this could be what this smell is, this dirge. And they were right, because as I started cutting away in the reflection of the mirror, my shadow self, my dark self, it started to ease off. My auric energy started to lighten. The smell decreased. I started feeling lighter in my energy and more self-loving rather than self-loathing. So this has been a major, major, major clearing. Not for the faint-hearted. Not for the faint-hearted. So if you get swept up by an energy wave and you know it's for you, just want to give you some encouragement. Not going to die, even though you feel like it. You feel like your life's been ripped apart. But this is the time, this is the big squeeze as we move through, let's call it the ascension journey, let's call it the journey of self-enlightenment at this time. There's major confluences of energy which are promoting and aggravating aggravating. Enabling this is the word. So here we are. I'm going to hand you over a little bit to Lou, and hopefully she won't splutter and cough all over the screen. She's got the chesty spluttery type thing, but I remind her,
You're not your body.
not your body either.
And I want to go biff, 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 biff because my body's going, Mah!
Yeah,
But,
so
you know, and that's
incredible.
just the reality of what's going on at the moment with where we're at. You know, we living in a world where, let's just call it the real world, but we know it's not the real world. But the symptomatic interaction that we have with it and the outworking of everything that's going on is, in a terminology, it is real. So we are having to deal with the body and the emotional body going, I feel achy, I feel headachy, I feel sick, I feel all of the things which, let's not beat around the bush, are very real to oneself at that particular moment. However, as we've been shared in other teachings, is everything, even though it's it's an illusion until we buy into it. Okay, it's the illusion that hooks us and says, here's the reality of it. The reality is that you're really sick and you need to go and get checked out because, you know, you're really sick. And the emotion is going, oh my God, what happens if I go, and whatever. And the spirit body's going, I'm not my emotional body. I am not my physical body. I am connected to the collective and the conscious connection of the divine healing. Therefore, I step into that. If I'm stepping into the divine healing, if I'm stepping into and I am abiding within that DNA, then I am constantly, every single day, in healing. Therefore, I am healed. Okay? So I'm telling myself this the whole time, and and Heather's getting it as well from our mentors. And then she's reminding me when I'm like going, oh my God, I can't do anymore, you know, because my body's so tired. And it's just like, are you your body or are you your spirit person? You know, are you spirit within a body or are you a body that just happens to have a spirit at the moment? And I'm the latter. I'm sorry, the former. I'm a spirit being that happens to have a meat suit that walks around to enable it to do things. Okay. And what I have found for myself this particular journey of healing is it's like, Heather asked me, she said something to me, she said, what would you sort of say to people if they said, what about all of this that's going on with this vibration, this wave? And it came to me real quick. It's like this bush telegraph. You know, in the old days, I grew up with party lines, okay? So, you know, it's one phone line amongst a whole bunch of people, and you had a certain signal. But if anybody on that party line could actually pick up the phone and listen into the conversation, you know, and that's where honesty and integrity came in, where you didn't do that. But what I felt was that there's a call that's gone out by the universe. There's a call that's gone out by the divine for people to step up. And it's gone out on a party line conversation. And it's like, universe is saying, guys, pick up the phone. This call is for you. If you're ready for the next vibration and the next resonation upgrade, then you need to clear out the dirt. You need to clear out the dross that's inside of you. And I thought about it after listening to what Heather said Platorans had told her in one of her sessions about it being a clearing, a purging of, and I went, you know, it's absolutely right at this particular moment. Everybody around the world, and we're not special, but we've gone through 2 intense years plus with all of the stuff that's happening. We've endured lockdowns, we've endured this, we've endured that. We've resisted this, resisted that because we've not consented, we've not given in, we've stood our ground. But all of that builds up within ourselves a certain amount of toxic release because we put our bodies, we put our physiology under a certain amount of stress. And the stress has to go somewhere. And so when things happen in our own life where we actually just stopped, we paused, and we let go of a certain thing, we let go of certain things in our lives, and said, this isn't important anymore. It's important, but it's not important enough for us to constantly sit and worry about. And we gave ourselves permission to release our bodies, our emotions, our spirit being, our higher self, our everybody went, oh, good, they've given permission. And 7.5 days later, we are still going, whoopsie-doo, did we do the right thing? Yes, we did, because
Hell yeah, because I feel so different.
It is. There's a difference in what's happening. There is a clearing. It's I can say the closest I ever felt like this when I was, if I look in the past and all the rest of it, was when I was a young child with influenza, back in my sort of teens or something like that, and feeling being locked away in bed, away from the rest of the family because I had influenza, for about 5 days or so. But it was nice because Mum would bring me soup and chicken soup, chicken broth, and ice cream and all that sort of stuff. It was nice. Didn't get that this time though. Mom, where are you? But
I gave you soup.
Oh, Heather gave me soup that I made, but no, that's all good. But we looked after each other,
You had to make it because I was flat on my back at the time.
and this is just it. This is the time for deep, intense healing coming through. And I noticed somebody said that in the comments just now, and we'll get to the comments a little bit later on. But
it's a bit hard for us to read them on our phone, but we'll get there.
But what I am sensing is that this particular clearing, this purging that's happening, for those who are buying it, okay, and it is something that people who are in the vibration clearing are going, yes, this is mine, I'm taking ownership of it. And they're making it their own, and they're purging their systems. And what's happening is the vibration level is altering. There's something, I can't tell you it's going to do A, B, C, D, and E in your system. All I can say is that for Louise, there's moments of such clarity that I can be doing something and everything in my body is going whinge, 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 and I'm looking at myself going, okay, WTF, shut that up, because this is not who you are. It's like there's this consciousness now that it keeps, I don't need Heather, I don't need somebody to come and say, you're not your body. It's like my higher self now is more firmly in place saying, this is what it is. You are now going through this vibrational shift. It's time to step up. It's time to mark up. It's time to be the being that you are. And it's really interesting that we've both gone through it in very, very similar timings. In fact, Platorans, our healing mentor from Palladian mentor, turned around and said, now we don't want the both of you to go down at the same time, because you need to support each other.
There was an overlap there.
There was an overlap of about 3 days.
There was two of us lying in bed at one stage. I went, this is not good.
Yeah. But you with a sense of humour, and with the trust in yourself and trust in the universe and trust in the teams that you're with for healing, you can heal yourself. And this, as Heather was saying, this is the big test. It's heal yourself.
Healer, heal thyself.
We've got all these tools. I bring through some great energy healing. I've got tuning forks. I've got access to a whole variety of energy friends that can assist with healing. But really and truly, it amounts to nothing. It's like Platoran said. It's like you can send energy healing to 1,000 people, and it'll hit them, and it'll either go straight on by, or it'll be like water off a duck's back. They won't do anything with it because they haven't set an intent. If they've set an intent for healing within themselves, then it doesn't matter if it's the highest level practitioner in whatever healing, that sends you healing, or if it's the kid next door that says a little prayer that says, "Dear universe, dear God, please send healing to so-and-so because they really need it." If you've sent an intent for healing in your body, wherever that added energy assistance comes from, you will receive it. And you don't need to know who sent it, because you'll just know it's for you.
If you're ready to receive it.
If you're ready to receive it, and you've set the intent that you're going to do that.
So I don't know if anybody else here has experienced what we've been going through, but that's okay. You know, there's still an opportunity, I'm sure. It's still
Line up here, we've got this for you.
It's still whipping around the world, but everyone will find their own measure of this. But please do remember, if you get an opportunity to allow yourself to really go into some deep healing, remember the stress that many of us have been over the past couple of years. I mean, we'll go, yes, we're strong, we're tough, we've done this, we've stood up for this, and da-da-da-da, and we have. And I didn't really think of it as stressful. There were some moments that were, of course, and like I thought I'd never get to see my family again, particularly my mother. And that was looking pretty dire at one stage, really seriously. Things like that I've just popped away, pushed away down there. Yeah, it's okay. Won't think about that.
We'll deal with it later.
We'll push it down here like that. All sorts of different things that have gone on, and also groups that have separated themselves and got into arguing, and some horrible things people have done to each other, I think, in the name of trying to be right, and it's just things like that as well. It's just crazy, crazy time, and it's like an ongoing separation of the wheat and the chaff, and the sheep and the wolf, so to speak, and people who really want to be of righteous heart and truth, but does involve doing a bit of bloody work, guys. It does involve looking at one's shadow self, which does exist within everybody. And I mean, like I was mentioning earlier, my shadow self was so dark that I could smell it. The smell kept coming up. I went, what's this bloody smell? And I haven't stuck anything up my nostrils, but I realised with a bit of guidance that this was my shadow self coming up to be cut away and to be cleared. How did I do that? Maybe I should share a little bit about that for those of you who are interested and know that this is something you want to look at for yourself. It's really none of this is for the faint-hearted. And I'm gathering that our tribe is not faint of heart, that you've got a bit of a backbone, and you've got some nous about who you are and the I am and the truth of your righteous being. I give you credit for that. I'm positive that we speak to people that know themselves or want to know themselves more, and a little more about this journey of truth. So I was guided to look in the mirror, look at the reflection of my shadow self. So that is to avoid getting emotionally attached to the shadow self, because if we get emotionally attached to the shadow self, we can actually not deal with it. We think it's truly who we are, and it never goes away. We never actually deal with it or cut it away or release it from ourselves. We decide that it's who we are, and so we keep wearing it like a bad coat, like a terrible outfit.
Like a bad smell.
We think it's okay, but the outfit's or a bad smell. The outfit's so bad that it's falling off us in disarray, or it's causing a problem. And other people can often see that, or people close to us can see that, and even ourselves to a certain degree. So I was encouraged to look at my shadow self as a reflection in the mirror, and I did that. And then to take the glass, so to speak, and cut it away. So I didn't treat it like an aspect where I would integrate it. I treated it as something that was time for me to cut away. I needed to cut this part away of myself that I no longer needed. So I did this over 2 or 3 days, to be honest, and until things got lighter, less intense, and I felt less attached and connected to this shadow self of mine that came up in various guises. So I'm not saying I'm totally complete with that. I mean, my journey continues on, but what I'm saying is some massive surgery, so to speak, has happened during this time. And it might be something that you guys are interested in as well, looking at your shadow self and looking at your energy vortices and bringing in that healing and balancing of your chakras and energy vortices going into, and doing the ho'oponopono, which is really about apologizing, giving thanks and love, particular parts and energy sectors of your body, particular organs and systems have really copped a lot, that we load our body over, that we give our body a hard time, we suppress stuff, and it affects our liver and our digestion, our mind. My mind was so confused, and that was one of the first things that I worked on, was my mind and my pineal, getting it a lot more active and clear. You don't need to fall into the trap of believing that if you live in this world and you eat food that's grown on our soil, that you automatically got a calcified pineal. You don't need to get into that belief system. You know that your pineal may need some attention, but you don't need to be in fear about it. Okay, we're all on a journey of opening ourselves, and that includes our pineal activity, to open up further to our lucid expressions and our psychic and other sensory energies, whether that be energy smell, energy sound, voice, sight, lucid dreams and experiences, travel, all sorts of things. You know what I'm talking about. If this reminds you of something, then you'll know what I'm coming to around that.
And if I may say, is like, you know, when you're working with your shadow self, and you begin to cut it away, it's not going to just sit there quietly and go, oh, okay, bye, nice knowing you, it was really nice being part of your life. It's not going to do that. It's going to rise up, and it's going to attack. It's going to react in some way. And I know that because I've seen it in working with my own self when I was starting to deal with issues. That same issue that I'm trying to cut away kept finding a way of irritating me, flaring up between Heather and myself. And it was just a case of like, no, I'm dealing with this. I've got to keep cutting this away. I've got to keep removing it.
You have to be brutally honest to be honest. You know?
What do we do with it once we've cut it away? You know, we're not integrating it. Like we've taught many people to integrate their aspects, because you know, once you've identified the aspect and identified what's yours and what's not yours, and what's yours stays and what's not yours is returned to its previous owner or wherever it goes to. But you know, what needs to happen is you need to look at this and go, well, this is truly done and dusted with. I'm not integrating it. I have no need for it anymore. What do we do with it? So what did you do with it, darling?
I sent it to the divine creator for neutralization. There's no point messing around. I just went, divine creator, got to help me here. I don't need this anymore. And so I sent it on. I delivered it. I just went, please take this from me. I do not need this anymore. I surrender it. I truly don't. And it was heartfelt and genuine. And there's no point going to the second in command. It's just, I believe in a divine creator. I believe in divine source, an omnipresence that's created the magnificence that I see all around me, including my own being. And so I have great trust and faith in that. And I will defer to that, not because I'm opting out of myself, but because I'm in alignment with the divine creator's wishes.
And it's true, because as soon as I sort of did that as well, and I watched her go through it first, and then I went through it, and I went, if it works for her, I'm going to do it for myself. And you know, cutting away is not easy, because you're looking at the mirror, and me being me, I want to know whether I'm looking at the mirror, and then I'm like, and then as soon as I take my eyes off the mirror and I'm like looking at what I'm doing over here, I start to become emotionally attached again, which means I kind of go back through the process again. There's nothing like burning your hand on a hot oven a couple of times to realize that, hang on, it is a hot oven. but that's my story, okay? That's how I learn with certain things. But all I can say, guys, is that this journey that we're on, okay, a lot of over the last 2 years, a lot of our journeys have been about waking up, about standing in our authority, being who we are as living men and women, knowing who we are in alignment with the Creator. And that's been brilliant because we need to know all of this. But I believe with all my heart that it's now time to leave the last 2 years behind us, the last 3 years behind us, and move forward. And I think this is what I can't speak for anybody out in the world of Facebook and the world out there that we don't interact with on an intimate and daily basis. But I do know that we are meeting more and more people who are ready to say enough. It's time to go to the next level. It's time to start talking and being and living as if we have always been the living men and women that are connected consciously to all that is. Because now, if more than ever, is the time to be consciously connected to universe, to the light, and not just the light, but to the light, the way of light, which is an energy form that will completely wipe out anything that is not of the purest and highest intent. So we need to be connected, and we need to know where we're going, because we're on a journey that is beginning to pan out in front of us. I love it because what I'm being shown is like this huge stage, and the lights are on dim, the curtains closed, but every now and then the wind blows, and you can kind of just see the curtains open a little bit, and you can see a little bit through the curtain, and there's like this auditorium full of people, and you can hear and the buzz, the show's about to begin, and it's just like, well, hold on, what's the show? Because I'm on the wrong side of the curtain if there's going to be a show, because I'm supposed to be on that side watching the stage. And that's where the universe comes to me and grabs me by my little earlug and goes, no, you are both watching and performing in this show. You are the part and parcel of everything. Everybody that you connect to is now an intimate part of this connection, this intimate part of the next exploratory flower or opening of what is going to happen in our world. And a lot of people recently I've been hearing a lot of people say, oh, come August, there's going to be this, there's going to be that. And it's almost been like a fear thing. And I've gone in and I've gone, shit, did I miss it? And I've gone to my team and I've said, did I miss out on August? What's happening in August? I mean, I know we've got...
It's just about to start, but...
Yeah, I know, I mean, I know we have the...
So
the
what's the team saying about that?
And the team's... August? Oh, you mean the month that follows July that comes before September? Oh, yes, some people are buying into it. Some people have... There's this thing that's going around. I said, yeah, but forget about them. What about me? Do I need to let my people know? Do I need to do I, and because I'm, following the narrative here. And they said, and that's exactly what they said to me. They said, Louise, why are you following the narrative? And I'm like going...
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, we haven't been following other sort of narratives.
Wow.
Why are we following that narrative?
So I pulled back, and that's, there's no, I mean, I've felt a little bit into the, the Lionsgate thing, and I'm like, is there something for me to bring forward for Lionsgate? And the guy said, well, if there is, we'll let you know.
Probably the day before.
And it'll probably be the day before.
We won't have a great event happening here. It'll be like all of a sudden you'll see us do a live about the Lionsgate, and it'll be some announcement, and we go, oh, okay, now we're doing something. So keeping us on our toes,
keeping us honest. But it and that's all it is really.
Being
is
in the
it's
moment.
keeping honest. It's being honest. And it's not following what's going out, whether the narrative is done by enlightened beings, unenlightened beings, the people that you've been following for the last 30 years because of ABC. It really doesn't matter. But if the message that comes through from whoever doesn't bring a peace, doesn't bring a gelling of this is good for my soul, this is good for my being, you got to ask yourself what's going on. And sometimes being good for your soul and being good for your being is to actually put the hand up and say no, and being in a place of uncomfortableness until you're comfortable with being uncomfortable because you've learned to stand your ground, to protect your bean patch, and a lot of people have always sort of queried that statement when the guys or I've used the statement protect your bean patch. Where does it come from? What does it mean? Well, I grew up, as many of you do, and you probably in your own backyards, you grew up with a little bit of a vegetable garden as a kid, and you'd plant your vegetables. That was, if you take that as a bigger thing, when a community plants their veggies and all the rest of it, it's normally outside of the community wall, where there's lots of soil and all the rest of it. So when an enemy attacks, where are they going to go? They're going to go to your food supply, which is not in your walls. All right, they're going to go to, and they're going to try and destroy that, which means that if they destroy your bean patch or your food patch, they've got you by the balls, by the short and curlies, because they're going to starve you out. All right. Whereas if you've got somebody who can protect the bean patch, defend it, then they're not going to have you by the short and curlies. And that's a military thing. Okay. So, I did grow up with a little bit of military in my backyard. Yep, that's okay. But if you can think of it this way, when you're told to protect your bean patch, it's not just I've got to go and plant some seeds in the ground and I've got to become, vigilant about that. This is the bean patch, guys. This is the bean patch. The physiology is your bean patch. Protect it. Keep it safe. Because as you're keeping it safe, the spirit within is able to communicate, is able to walk, is able to do what is necessary, what its purpose is to do on this planet. It cannot do its purpose on this planet if the bean patch is weak and undernourished and sick and not able to do that.
And that all aligns with, we were told to also to improve our immune systems, to boost our immune systems, which is part of what we've been through over the past 10 days or longer, whatever it is a big clear out of the immune system and a boost of the immune system so that we can be strong and healthy regardless of what's thrown at us.
And I'd like to say with that as well, sweetie, is that I know not so much for you, but for me, I take herbs. Like when my body goes through this, I look at it and I go, yes, I'm working with the energy. And I'm going to focus in on the energy and I'm going to bring the energy in. And then as a booster, I take things like echinacea. I take things as like time drops to help dry out my nasals. I do things to assist the immune boosting of my physical body, but it doesn't mean that just because I'm taking herbs and things like that I'm buying into the fact that my body is sick. No, I'm going, I know what's happening. I'm boosting what's already there so that the immune system is getting the boost it needs. So there's nothing wrong with doing that either. I mean, I take the CBD as well. So, it just helps me with everything.
And yeah, so...
I've got to go blow my nose.
Oh, great. Okay, thanks for sharing. So obviously taking the herbs that are right for you to boost your system. I love my echinacea. I took a lot of echinacea in the first few days. That was great. But to be honest, just lots of water, lots of rest, lots of meditation, lots of clearing at different levels as well. And the CBD, which has been great for stress and sleep and some of those painful moments, etc., has been fantastic as well. And I know some of you took advantage of the sale recently. Australia, New Zealand only, unfortunately, guys, for that. But I know you've probably got great products that you use in whatever part of the world you are, Canada, the States, UK. So I think elderberry is amazing. Yep, there's lots of wonderful natural herbs out there that we just love. And, you know, I very rarely I don't go and see a doctor for these things because I don't want to be pumped full of pharmaceuticals. So we do our own thing. We do our own thing, and we did during this time, and it was pretty intense. Anyway, I think
we're done.
I think we've said what we needed to say. It's ongoing, and there's massive changes happening. You know, we're in the most incredible time of change on our realm, on our earthly realm, inside and out. And stay righteous, stay true to yourself. And if you've got any questions or you want to chat to us, you can
reach out,
personal message us, or if you want to know what we do, go and check out our website. It is cosmic.com. All our services and courses are there. I'm pretty excited, actually. I think we're moving into the most incredible times, and you don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. You know, it's just, and this is one of the main things that we sort of like did this live today, was to basically encourage anybody that's out there that happens to have picked up that party line phone call from the universe and gone, hello, yes, I'm ready. When's the package being? Oh,
yeah,
package is delivered. You know, it may feel as if you are being, as Heather put it, scrubbed inside and out with a big scrubbing brush, but you're not alone in this. There are people out here that have gone through it, can support you. You're in the right path. You're doing it. Keep doing it. Focus. Believe in yourself. And you are exactly where you're meant to be.
And as Devi says, we are one song. We are indeed one song.
Absolutely.
And I think we're coming back to that realisation.
Absolutely.
Look after your song. Look after your truth.
Absolutely.
We love you.
And we'll be back doing more lives now that we are back on here.
We are
where we are, whatever. Love you all.
Have a fantastic evening, morning and night, wherever you are on our wonderful, wonderful, wonderful realm, and stay connected. Stay connected to the divine. It's all panning out now. Thank you.